moving on. So we've covered most of the keyboard aspects of it. There have been some complaints on notebookreview.com, in the forums on notebookreview.com, of keyboard flex near the enter key. So I would never have realized this if someone hadn't pointed it out on the forums, but if you actually go by the enter key, I'll try and zoom in here, and push, the keyboard right here does go down slightly. This is very, very, very minor. I would never have noticed that unless you're really banging down on the keyboard. You won't notice it either, especially because island style. So I'm not sure if mine is sturdier than the builds people on notebookreview.com were talking about, or if it's a bigger complaint for some users. But it's definitely not something I would consider keyboard flex compared to any of the other laptops I've owned in my past, which have included Asus, HP, and Dell. This has been by far the sturdiest keyboard I've used, and it's a pleasure to type on. The trackpad here has been adjusted to the center of the actual keyboard layout, so I got used to typing very quick. I've never accidentally hit the touchpad either. It's pretty good. Now, one thing we haven't covered from the exterior is the bottom. Now the bottom, Sony Style UK told me this was made in Japan. The bottom does say it's made in China, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. You have a bay for the hard drive and a bay for the RAM over here. There's only 2 DIMM slots, I believe. I haven't actually opened this up. Now one gripe that I have found at the bottom over here on the chassis, let's see if you can see this. Down by the Blu-ray drive, there is flex. If I push right beneath here, it goes down considerably. There is noticeable flex right underneath the Blu-ray drive. So I'd be careful picking it up from this side. It is an annoyance. I wasn't that happy with that, but it's nothing major for me. I just have to be careful how I pick this up. And apart from that, the build quality feels very, very, very sturdy. I can honestly say there's no flex on the chassis, apart maybe from that tiny little one on the keyboard. It feels like a very high quality finish. It feels like a very sturdy laptop. It's non-glossy again, so it has a professional look rather than the flashy glossy look of the SXPS, but I wouldn't have to keep rubbing away for fingerprints. Doesn't heat up here. There have been complaints by some users on the XPS and the HP Envy actually that the areas around their trackpads heat up. This is not the case here. Okay. The screen. Screen is the biggest argument about this laptop, or the biggest point of contention. The screen that is sold on the premium EU models, that is the F11 S1E and the F11Xs and the F11Zs, are very different from the ones on the US models. When the screen in the EU is sold as Vaio Display Premium, it refers to a 1080p, 100% Adobe RGB screen with a matte finish. The US screen is a glossy screen. There have been quite a few complaints on it. I cannot do any kind of review on that. I would not know the difference between them. I can only review the UK premium screen, which is a matte 100% Adobe RGB screen, and in a word, so far it's fantastic. I was very, very, very apprehensive about receiving a matte screen. I have not used a matte screen in a very long time, apart from my work Dell Latitude over there, which we'll cover in a second, which is a horrible screen. And again, I was very apprehensive about receiving a matte finish. All of that has gone once I opened the laptop and taken a look at the colors. What we can see here, I'm just gonna move around, make sure my brightness is on full. It is. And just take a look at the picture here for a second. Okay, it is 1080p. The colors are very, 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 very vivid. Now, having said that, when I first received the laptop, I mean, immediately upon switching it on, turning on a movie, I thought the colors were very vivid. But after applying a color profile from a user named Matt800 on the Notebook Review forums, I was even more impressed. And now I cannot switch back to the standard Sony color profile. Let's take a look at the difference. So I'm gonna switch. Right now I've got a calibrated color profile from Matt800 on the forums. And I'm gonna switch it down to the to the standard Sony one for a second. Let me find which one that was. That was this one, alright. There you go. So this is a standard one that came with Sony. And let's see if you can spot the difference when I change this to the one from Notebook Review. Okay, I'm going to switch it now. And immediately you can see a huge difference in colors. This is the Sony Standard. And this is the calibrated. And it's not calibrated specifically to my screen. It's calibrated by another user in the UK, Matt800, who has the same laptop screen. I would probably get even better results if I purchased a Spider 3 calibration tool myself, which I might do. But so far I'm very happy with the colors with the profile from the forum. And this is even more apparent. Let's say if I open a movie, I'm gonna go ahead and let me just open a movie real quick. Okay, so I've opened Up, which is a cartoon, and the reason I'm choosing this one is because of its colors.
Can we keep them, please? Please?
No.
What is a talking dog?
It's
The
just
colors
a weird
are,
trick or
if you're sitting in front of it,
something.
extremely vivid
Please be
and
my
beautiful.
prisoner. Oh, please be my prisoner.
Now because of the 16:9 resolution, it fills the whole screen. I don't have any black bars on this particular video, although other videos
Wait a
would.
minute. What is this? Chocolate. I smell chocolate. I'm
And if
getting
I try and
fruit
switch the
and
profile
Densher
here,
cream. Who are
I'm
they?
going to switch between the Sony default
Not me, please. We better tell
and
him someone
my calibrator.
right, Alpha?
This is the Sony default.
No.
Let's go back to
Soon enough, the bird will be ours yet again. I'm the scent, my compadres.
And I will bring it back.
Tents
anyway.
are hard.
Punish him if you talk with. I would be happy if you stop. Russell?
take the pause there. So this is the Sony, and this is the calibrated, just so you can have a better sense of the difference.
Don't
Okay.
touch that. It could be radioactive
Now,
or something.
the speakers over here are absolutely fantastic with regards to playing movies. As soon as you switch on something called Dolby V3, which can be found in the sound options, mixer, and double clicking on the speaker here, there's a Dolby tab, and Sony does support Dolby Home Theater V3 here. As soon as I switched on the audio enhancer and surround sound, the clarity of the movie sounds has become a lot clearer. Speaking is very clear. All the sound effects are really clear, and it really is a big step above my old Asus and HP. It does, however, probably not compare at all to the Studio XPS16, which has much more powerful speakers with a dedicated subwoofer. This PC does not have a dedicated subwoofer. For music, however, it's not the best. It's still miles ahead of my old HP and my old G1S, Asus G1S, which had, by the way, absolutely terrible speakers. It's no match for a dedicated subwoofer located on the SXPS, I'm quite sure. What I'm playing right now is it's a very high quality rip. It's a lossless rip from a CD. It's a dance song, and maybe you'll be able to hear some distortion, maybe not, but it's worth a shot.
Should I hold you? 'Cause I can. Can you feel it? Understand that for me, you are the one. I wanna be right by your side, and I will never let you go. I know I'll never let you down. I wanna be right by your side.
Okay, well, that's enough of that. As you can see, it's very fluid colors here and motion, but the sound itself, there's no bass, there's no kick to it, and so again, I wouldn't compare it to the Studio XPS. But the sound is above average for notebooks. Even having said that, I mean, playing music is not terrible, but it's not a wow effect that I was hoping for if I had gotten the Studio XPS.